Hello, I'm Nikki Callison, and along with my husband Roger, we own and operate Callison Ranch and Callison Ranch Beef right here in southern Oklahoma. We really appreciate this opportunity to share with you some of the things that we have learned in selling our product, beef, direct to consumer over the last 2 years. Hopefully you'll learn some things from the challenges that we have faced and also have some food for thought to help you in your journey in selling your product direct to consumers. Now, in talking about farmers and ranchers selling direct to consumers, I'm going to refer a lot to beef because that's what our product is. But your product may be honey or vegetables or sourdough bread or whatever it is that you plan to sell direct to consumer. But for us, it's beef. And so a lot of these points will work no matter what your product is. But forgive me if I refer to our beef a lot. One of the first things that may seem really elementary is deciding what it is that you want to sell and how. I know with our beef, there are many different types of beef. There's grass-fed, grain-finished. There's grass-fed beef completely. You also have anybody that would like to sell something that is a particular breed, maybe a particular classification of beef. And so you've got to decide what it is that you want to sell. Also, are you looking to just sell in your state? If you want to stay in Oklahoma, then it definitely opens your horizons as far as what processor you can use. If you're looking to ship to all over the United States, then you definitely have to have a USDA inspected, certified processor that can help you. So as you're starting out, and of course these can evolve over time as far as what you want to do, but you need to decide what your product is and where you want to sell it. Do you only want to sell it direct from your farmer ranch? Are you only going to sell shares? Are you going to go to farmers markets? Are you going to ship your product? These are all things to take into consideration before you begin. And you need to know your product. If you're going to be answering questions, you need to know about your product, what makes your product special, what makes your product good, and work with that. The next thing that I would encourage you to do is educate yourself. Whether you're new to farming and ranching or you've been farming and ranching for generations, there's always something to be learned. If you're in the beef industry, I highly recommend that you complete the Masters of Beef Advocacy course. It can be done online, and no matter where you are in the industry, it is very important because you learn so much, but also because you are looking to sell direct to consumer, and you are going to be considered an advocate for your business, for your product, and you need to make sure that you know the information and some of the questions that people will ask you. And so that Masters of Beef Advocacy course, check into it. You can go to the Oklahoma Beef Council page and find that, sign up, do it online. I assure you it's worth your time. In selling your product direct to consumers, you need to plan, and then be flexible. Especially during this time that we've really had some difficulty in finding processors that are available through COVID-19. And with that, we've had to be flexible, but also we've had to plan and know how many steers we want to have ready in the next 120 days and ready for harvesting. So we've made appointments in advance with our processor, we're getting our steers ready, and then in the meantime, finding our buyer. And so there's a lot of planning that goes into it, a lot of trial and error. So sometimes you've got to jump in and see where you're at and go from there. Learn from your mistakes. Also, in educating yourself, you really need to know what the laws are, what the regulations are, and ask questions, find out. To protect our U.S. food supply and also the consumer, products must be labeled appropriately. So make sure that you know the regulations that are consistent with whatever product you choose to sell. For example, if you're looking to sell USDA approved product, then your label must be approved by the USDA. And you cannot make claims on your product that have not been approved. For example, all natural, grass-fed, raised in Oklahoma, these must be approved before you can label your product with these claims. As a business owner, no matter what your business is, it is super important to know your numbers. And I'm going to tell you, in farming and ranching, there are so many variables. I know in our beef industry, we have our live weight, we have our hanging weight, and then you would be shocked as to the shrink of the actual bring home weight of the beef. And you need to know those numbers so that you can price your product accordingly. And so know your numbers, keep excellent records so that you can help make intelligent decisions for your business, because we definitely want you to be successful. In addition, give some thought to your branding. How are you going to set yourself apart from your competition and communicate to your customer what it is that your farm or ranch is providing? Make sure that you keep your branding consistent, whether you're posting to social media, adding a label to a product, or communicating your message. I'm going to encourage you to see your challenges as opportunities. If that means you have a customer who maybe didn't like their product, something that you can do to offer customer service, it's a great opportunity to make a customer for life if you can take care of that customer. My freezer trailer behind me is a prime example. When we had first started out, we wanted to go to farmers markets, but we had to have a way that complied with our Oklahoma Health Department and also the farmers markets. And I really at the time didn't think that this was an investment that I could make, but it's been one of the best things that I've done. It is excellent for keeping our beef, it's a rolling billboard, and also it's perfect for picking up our beef at the processor. So as you face challenges, I encourage you to see those as opportunities within your business. Let's talk a little bit about finding your customer. Starting out, you're going to do great just selling to friends of friends, or also farmers market, or wherever you choose to go, and word of mouth. But also you can use social media. Social media does require a certain bit of strategy and also hard work, but I have found that it's worth it. So when you are putting your information on Facebook or Instagram, I really encourage you to keep your message positive. Remember that you are looking for consumers that you want to trust you and to trust what you do on your farm and ranch. So don't be afraid to share some of your everyday. People are very curious and they want to see what you're doing. I found that feeding cattle is interesting for everybody except those of us who do it every day. And I am looking for people who aren't just other farmers and ranchers. I want that mom in Edmond. I want those grandparents in Tulsa that they want to buy beef. Years ago, everyone had an uncle or a grandfather that had a farm or ranch and they bought directly from them. Times have changed and people are generations away from farms and ranches, and they're looking to get back and find people who are farming and ranching to buy direct. But I really encourage you to keep your message positive. And in that, I really talk a little bit about staying in your lane. And what I mean by that is if you are only able to sell your product by putting down the product somewhere else, then you must not have a product that's worth purchasing. For us personally, some of our steers will be sold commercially and end up in your local grocery store. Other steers stay here on the ranch and I sell directly to consumer. So I don't want to downplay one part of our industry to build up another. And so really I encourage you just to think about what it is that you are selling and to talk about the positives of that, talk about what you're doing on your ranch, show what you're doing every day, and I promise you, people are gonna wanna be part of your journey. Truck is backed up and ready to go, and the lots are super muddy and just almost soupy from all the rain that we've been getting. But we're going to load these girls onto a nice dry truck and head them down to South Texas. Priority number one when they get there will be water and food, and then turn them out on wheat pasture, and they're really going to enjoy their spring home. Roger and I will go down a couple of times and check on them. We also talk to the landowner, and it's just another partnership that ranchers have with other ranchers or landowners, and able to utilize that land better. The cattle are all loaded and settling in and headed out to South Texas. We really appreciate truck drivers. Roger and I try to use drivers that either we know or the landowner knows. This truck driver happens to be the uncle of the landowner where the cattle are going. You can see them headed out behind me. And these guys take a lot of pride in their rigs, and that's what they call their big truck, and their big cattle trailer is their rig. Many of them are owner-operators, and so this is their business, this is their livelihood. This gentleman even apologized to me when I told him I wanted to video up into his trailer. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry that I didn't hose it out and clean it out for your video." I said, "It's no problem." I said, "We all know that you're hauling cattle." Really appreciate these guys. Good morning. It's super early this morning. Sun's just now coming up. So you can see that behind me. And we are all here this morning. Roger's in the feed truck trying to lure the cattle. We've brought some cowboys in that we've hired that I'll introduce you to later. And my daughter Kai and I, and we're all pushing cattle across the prairie preserve this morning. Hi, I'm Nikki Callison, and my husband and I are proud to be American ranchers and bring beef directly from our ranch to you. We come from generations of ranchers. In fact, my grandfather, Ray Tucker, used to sell his beef directly from his ranch to the consumer. He called it rancher's beef. My mother gave me this photo album of my grandfather and my grandmother selling their beef direct from their ranch to consumers. And we've carried on that tradition here at Callison Ranch by selling our beef directly from our ranch to your doorstep. We send it to you in this box that is recyclable and reusable, shipped overnight, frozen, pasture to plate from our ranch to you. We know the love and care that's gone into this beef, and we want to share it with you and your family. If you have any questions about beef, where it comes from, nutrition questions, or how it's been raised, then contact ranchers like me at Callison Ranch Beef on social media. Every day on social media, I share our life, our interests, and our operation here at Callison Ranch. It is very important to use your everyday to develop trust with your customer and to continue your story and the conversation that is your business. As farmers and ranchers, we have a consumable product that can be sold to anyone, in my case, that eats beef. And that product can be enjoyed over and over again by my customer, their friends, their family, and so I want to develop that trust and that relationship with them. But remember that no one producer can feed all of Oklahoma, much less the United States or the world. There is a market share for you, and I do believe in the saying, a rising tide lifts all boats, that as encouraging each other and working together, that we can learn to sell our products across Oklahoma to individuals who are looking for the incredible agricultural products that we provide right here in our great state. Thank you so much for giving me just a few minutes of your time and the opportunity to share with you. If you would like to reach out, we're at CallisonRanchBeef.com, or you can find us on Instagram at Callison Ranch or Facebook at Callison Ranch. We'd love to hear from you, and I'm very excited to see where your journey takes you selling direct to consumers.